Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black Dog Sports Podcast. I am your host, Arthur Hosey Jr. of the class of 2008, and I'm joined by Mr. Derek Thomas of Maroon and White Nation, kind of, from what I understand, but whatever. What you got to say to the people today, Derek?
I'm still with Maroon White Nation. I needed some rights some more before I get fired. I've been my student worker he's been doing a lot more of the writing, so I've been editing and posting his articles. But I definitely need to write some more. I've been having ideas. I just been so busy with life. I just haven't had time to sit down and put it into words or formulate stories. But hey, always time for a Black Dog Sports Podcast, even
You
though we
know,
haven't had one in a while.
you know what? WordPress is starting to push having a connected blog to go along with the anchor page, and I'm starting to consider it, because like
Is
I
it
said,
free?
I have a background. Yeah, I think it's free. I have a background in writing, so as far as columnist type of stuff is concerned, I can handle that on my own, bad boy, baby.
Yeah.
But
Is it gonna pay?
I mean, maybe we'll see. But the thing that we're talking about today is women's basketball. Now, since we came on the last time, the sky fell in Mississippi State athletics. We had who didn't leave is the better question.
We had
Let's
what
see.
6 players leave.
Yeah. Zaria Wiggins left and two trash centers that we had on the team. See,
Hey,
look,
hey, hey! Be nice.
I'm talking about their playing ability,
Amelia
not their
Morris,
people. Jemiah Morris could not play. Okay, it is what it is. And look me in my eye and
Sidney
tell me that Sidney
Cooks,
Cooks was good for anything other than air balls.
but Jemima Mignon Young and your
Okay,
crush left. Your crush left.
Aaliyah Matharu. I mean, that was very
That,
unfortunate.
that was your
Very
future Mississippi State
unfortunate.
Lady Bulldog wifey, dream wifey. I know it was. I know you
I don't
said,
know about
and
all
my
that. The,
I'm gonna call her my niece because I'm close with her mom. Madison left, and she transferred to North Carolina State. But I'm
you
still
know,
gonna root for my niece.
the older I get, the younger the players get. And now it's kind of like these girls. I've taught people younger than them, so I'm kind of but any rate, so the sky was falling. Now
Two
I
coaches left.
I have a source, right? And the source was giving me the lowdown about what happened on the team. And so, if you are in the Black Dogs Matter group, which once again, membership is restricted to African Americans, but that is what it is. So, the people within the group knew about all of this stuff, right? We have talked about within the group in explicit detail exactly why each player left. Okay, now you can message me on Facebook or whatever, and I tell you what's what. um, but other people asked about it, and did we put them into the group or whatever? But yeah. So from what I have come to understand, a lot of those players, it wasn't so much they left, so much as that they were pushed out the door. Everybody except for one player in particular, they were basically pushed out of the
Yeah.
door because Coach McCray did not like what she saw as far as the culture of the team, right? So the players who were left are players who are like stand-up players who have the mentality that Coach McCray is trying to build at Mississippi State University. So even I myself jokingly said that the Nikki McCray Penson era had basically devolved into Coach Fannin, right?
You
Now I
got
wouldn't necessarily.
Tori gonna get you, bro. You better leave her coach alone.
It should be all right.
Let me wait. She probably gonna come in here and cuss you out.
Latoya knows that I love Coach Fannin. Okay. Now, was it the best point in? Wait, now I will say this: if you look at the history of Mississippi State athletics, outside of Vic, Coach Fannin is the most successful
She's the
coach in
goat. She's the
Mississippi
goat.
State history. And people act like we were just complete and utter garbage under Coach Fannin, and that's not true.
You know,
I
we had the
mean, we went
Toy
to
and
the
Tan connection.
right. Well, we went to the Sweet 16 under her.
Yeah.
We had you know, sit like several players in the first round of the WNBA draft. So I mean, we did pretty good for ourselves. However, um, right when all of the fans were losing all faith, uh, Coach McCray pretty much rebuilt the team in
She
one
pressed the
fell swoop.
reset button on the Nintendo.
What
That's
about
what she
Nintendo?
did. She
Yeah, just
pushed the
like on the video
reset
game.
button on the
So,
Nintendo. That's what she did.
so we bring in three members of the A team, right? I don't know all of their names, but I just know all their last name is Hayes. And we
The
know
A
that
team,
three
baby.
Hayes, well, I ain't gonna say that because this sounds shady because people like three Hayes are better than one. But I like
Hey,
Madison.
hey, 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 now.
I like Madison Hayes. Madison Hayes and her family are friends of the
I'm gonna
Black Dog
leave my niece
Sport
alone.
Podcast.
I'm claiming her as my niece. You know, she had she decided to leave.
It's not creepy at all.
You know, she's family.
Okay,
She's in North Carolina State now.
part of the family.
I would have loved to have seen her continue her career at Mississippi State,
Family.
but she decided she needed to leave, and I support
Family.
her decision. And I'm gonna wish her well. I
Family.
hope she has a successful career. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how Yamaya Morris managed to get to another D1 program.
I mean, she's 6'6", man. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
with
You know
long
what?
arms. I
You know what? You're
mean,
right.
it's possible. You know, she may even have a future plan overseas with her height and length. So she don't have to. She's gonna have to. She's not gonna have to score a lot of points over there. Just play defense and block shots, get in the way over there.
She was kind
So
of she had her moments though, but
yeah, she did. I mean,
but
when
the
she
thing,
was when she was sub out for Jessica Carter, she brought a more physical presence than Carter did. They could push Jessica Carter around. Well, no pushing Yamanya Morris around. So
so
she was gonna
Sidney
be a
Cook
rock
must
in
have
the
had
middle.
some type of dirt on Coach McCray or something like
Who?
that. I don't know what was going on.
Who
Sidney
had
Cook she
dirt?
had some dirt on her or something.
Sydney
I do
Cooks.
yeah, Sidney Cooks. I do not understand how she kept getting in the game.
Oh man, I thought you mean. I thought you, well, I mean, look. Former 5-star prospect, McDonald's All American. Unfortunately, her first season in Starkville did not go as I know she didn't plan. Definitely not how I planned. I mean, she shot the three a whole lot. She had basically 2 games where she was dominant, and the rest of the games were lukewarm. A lot of air balls, a lot of low percentage shots, not a lot of defense. So she's now going to what Seton Hall with Espinosa Hunter. So they tag teaming it up again for their final years on the hardwood. Matharu is going to play for Vic.
So she can go sit on the
How you
bench.
feel about that?
I know. Well, you tied Sidney Cook. She went from first team McDonald's All American to first team Waste Management. I never seen anything like it. I
Has
never
has
seen
Zaria
anything like it.
has Zaria committed to another school yet? I don't think she has yet, right? I think she's the only one that hasn't committed to play anywhere.
No,
Because Yamanya Morris is going to West Virginia.
right, bad boy,
Lingo Young is going to Alabama.
bad boy.
So the only person that I haven't seen, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy.
Yeah, Zaria the only person who hadn't committed
Okay.
anywhere.
Kathy thinks that Madison was the Lady Bulldogs MVP. She definitely had the Hustle Award, in my opinion. I mean, she true freshman. You know, she was that player that she she could have scored. I wish she could have been allowed to score more, but she did what the coach asked her to do. She was the lightning bug. She played defense. She hustled. She scored when she was supposed to score. I wanted to see her take over some games. Well, I'm gonna get the chance to see her take over games as a member of the Wolfpack now, not as a member of the Lady Bulldogs.
I mean, it's one of those deals where
Kathy said Wiggins is going home to her mama. Kathy,
where's her mama at?
you know.
Okay, so
Well,
okay, so we got our track. So the A team, right?
right, the
So
Hazes.
we got two former 5-star players, the
Hmm.
number two scorer in the country.
Hmm.
Um, all of them are guards or whatnot, but we also got a former 5 star from Tulane. Okay, so not only do we have 4 transfers coming in, or at least 4 transfers coming in, but these are quality players. I would venture to say that the only transfers, as far as I was concerned, that really hurt were Madison
Hmm.
Hayes
Amen.
and Aaliyah Matharu. But we got quality players who are as good or better than those players who are coming in. So and then they all talk very highly of Coach McCray, because what I had been hearing was that there's some negative recruiting going on with other programs who are saying negative things about Coach McCray as a person to try to poach our players away, which didn't work or anything like that. So she brought in some good people, and then we lost an assistant to Austin P as the head coach,
Hmm.
and the other assistant, I guess he just got fired. They brought in a guy from Michigan, brought in an assistant from Arizona who just got out the national championship game. 2 quality hires. So as
Right.
far as I'm concerned, I don't think that we're rebuilding. I think that we're reloading. Okay. Can't possibly be any worse than last year. And the thing is this: anybody who watched our team last year knew that the problem that they had was something that was between the ears. Okay. Um,
And
well,
hustle
I
at
think that there
times.
was a confluence of issues, but definitely as the season went on, they just started they were just playing like garbage. They weren't playing together. They weren't playing
We're
together as
playing
a
as a
team.
team.
They kind of reminded me of as I used to say about the men's basketball team, like when it was Lamar Peters and the Weatherspoon brothers. Every time they got on the court, it looked like they had never played with each other before.
Right.
Like they were just discovering these people. The only people who had anything remotely resembling chemistry was like Reggie Perry and Lamar Peters. Ironically, I don't know how that operated, but whatever. Um, so yeah, think that the team is reloading. I think that it's gonna help that she has people. Apparently, she's recruiting people that got some dog in them, and that's what we need. That's the thing about Mississippi State. That's one of our core values, is that we need people that got some dog in them.
That's right.
We don't need any cats. We need some dogs, as the Coastal Carolina coach said. So I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes.
I want to see who she's gonna bring in with those last two spots because we need some post players. We need
Definitely,
some length. We need a big body in there because right now only post players we have are Jessica Carter and Charlotte Cole.
ugh.
Rakia's gonna have to move to the four because she's the next tallest player left at
She
six foot
needs to be
two.
playing forward anyway. Let's
So
keep it real.
so that's probably where she's gonna play with all these guards coming in. So we bringing in four guards. Rakia's gonna have to play the four. You know,
Right. You know how I am with that.
because
Just
the
like
point
with,
guard for Tulane, I'm pretty sure she's gonna. Well, Maya's probably gonna start unless she gets beaten out. But the girl who played for Middle Tennessee State, the Hayes, to score the 27 points a game. She coming in starting. No way you can keep her on the bench. No
wait,
way.
wait. You mean to tell me that Maya Taylor is coming back?
She wasn't a senior. She was a junior. Hey man. Hey, look. Maya Taylor had a solid first year under Nick McCray Princeton. She improved her scoring percentage. She shot the ball more. She was more aggressive under McCray Penson than she was under Vic. So she grew as a player. So coming back for her senior year, I expect to see more growth from her. You know, I mean, she's a senior. She's gonna be a senior, and it's time for her to, you know, make that leap for her last year.
Bruh. You know what this remind me of? When IJ Reddy had that last year of eligibility left, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you mean to tell me that he's not a senior?" Like, hey, hey,
Hey man,
hey.
I'm
But
I'm
the,
a
the
big
thing,
fan. I'm a
I'll say
big
this
fan of
about
him.
her: I feel as though that she is a stabilizing force.
She is.
Yeah. So I don't nut bunnies. Okay, I gotta go get my charger. So do your Jeremiah
With
thing
the
right
author.
quick.
You know what? Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Jeremiah
So
not here,
let's
so
see.
somebody got a rank.
Man, what's going? Kathy, you still there? Oh, Adam wants to know about us on number 8 preseason power poll in football, bruh. The bandwagon is still broken right now.
You say Adam
So
wanna know
nah, we
more?
need we need to we need to see what we're gonna do in this spring game first and foremost before we need to be ranked in anybody's power preseason power poll or any poll. We do have plenty of talent, but we're a long way away from being competitive to be ranked high in anybody's poll.
Whoever
That's my
said that we
opinion.
was number 8, was that what was that like RPI poll or something like that? I
It's
know
some
they
type
don't
of
mean like we the
preseason
eighth
power
best
poll.
team. I know they don't mean like we the eighth best team.
I mean, like we have some pieces coming back. We'll get into football later, but I was just bringing it up since you stepped away. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this team comes together. And Coach McCray Penson's second year. I mean, this is definitely not the basketball season that any of us expected. I did not expect this team to look like it's looking now, but overall, I really feel like we will be better. Yeah, we lost Madison, but we are bringing in some. We're bringing in talented players. So winds of change are blowing. Selling in. Like I said, I want to see what she's going to do with those last two spots. We need some. We need some post players.
Right.
Definitely.
But what I'm hearing mostly is that Coach McCray is not willing to take their crap. That she's running a tight ship. She running
I
in a
mean, she
certain way.
came from this past summit school, man, so she ain't gonna
Uh,
take no crap. I mean,
and
look.
and she had no problem telling some players who were former McDonald's All-American and five-star players, hey, go somewhere else. You are not welcome at Mississippi State University no more. What I've been told is do not let anybody fool you. Most of those people who left the program didn't leave of their own accord. They were she just declined to let them come back to Mississippi State University this season. And that the plan, that this was by design, that certain people, they didn't want in the program no more. And she told them not to come back. And that the plan was that they were going to rebuild through the transfer portal. Which, once again, if you were a member of the group, you would have known this weeks ago. But that's beside the point. Okay, so are we finished with that? And you know what?
I mean, we can. We can. I mean,
You know what? I want to talk about a part of the year that's near and dear to my heart. Good old Super Bulldog Weekend. You know,
right.
a magical, the most wonderful time of the year. Spring
Time when
homecoming.
you got fired.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't gonna bring it up, but when
Got to.
I used to write for the Reflector on campus, right? And I was tasked with writing an article about Super Bulldog Weekend. Me being who I am, I'm one of those people. I'm African American, and that affects my worldview. So what we were talking, they told me to go talk to some students and see what they thought about Super Bulldog Weekend. Me being me, I went and talked to some people that I knew. I'm a black guy. People that I know are black. And a lot of them was like, what the hell is Super Bulldog Weekend? And so I wrote this long article about how Super Bulldog Weekend, a lot of black students felt as though that it wasn't inclusive and that they didn't have any activities geared towards them. And that basically, it was a bunch of country groups coming in and all this off the wall stuff that was mostly to be consumed by white people. And the black people didn't know what it was. And even when I did tell them what it was, they was basically like this white folk stuff. and I offered a bunch of solutions, the things that they could do to make Super Bulldog Weekend more inclusive. And I got freaking fired from the Reflector for writing that story. Now,
on
if
your
you
day
were to go on
off.
the if you were to go into the Reflector's website right now, you can look up my name. You look up AJ Hosey. You'll see a bunch of articles pop up that I wrote from like
But that one will not.
'06 to '07, right? Whoever the editor was, it was this loser named Tyler. Somebody told me his last name, but I can't remember it. So, Tyler, if you are listening to this right now, or if you know Tyler, tell him that I say that he can, in the words of DMX, that he can fillet me.
Oh
Okay?
my God! The rest of
Um,
heaven, DMX.
huh?
Arthur, you didn't save a copy of that article.
No, I didn't. I mean, it was forever ago. What else you want from me? Okay? So, Tyler, wherever you are, you can fillet me. Now, somebody that I want to send a shout out to is RJ Morgan. He was the sports editor at the time, real dude, even though he's at Ole Miss now. But that is what it is. So,
I almost
y'all
pulled
gotta
the
get, we
Jeremiah
gotta
on
get
you.
paid. We
I
gotta get
almost
paid.
I almost pulled
So,
the Jeremiah on you.
Super Bulldog Weekend, you know, uh, I met my first girlfriend at Super Bulldog Weekend at a crawfish boil for BYX Bucks, Brothers Under Christ at the crawfish boil or whatnot. You know, this Super Bulldog Weekend is a very special time for me. I like going to Super Bulldog Weekend. Now, this weekend, something really important going on. Derek, what is it? Let me give you your quiz. What going on this weekend? Other than Super Bulldog Weekend.
Super Bowl that was the spring
What?
game. The spring game.
The spring game, and the spring game is what it is. What's really important, baseball. Ole Miss.
Oh, it's Ole Miss.
Yes. Mississippi
I
State
saw
versus
something.
Ole Miss.
I saw. They won like $350 for a ticket to that game.
I mean, okay, so for anybody out there who's listening, I have actually gone to a baseball game this year. I went to the Saturday, the last game of the Kentucky series. It was my first time going to the new Duty Noble Field, and I want to say this, and this is something that's been on my mind for a while. Mississippi State University is really good at building these big monolithic stadiums that have no soul. Okay?
Now, why
I'm
would you
gonna
say
put
something like that?
I'm gonna put it out there, okay? The softball stadium, Newt's Field, or whatever the name of it is, really big stadium, but outside of the fact that it's big, I just don't think it has a lot of personality.
So what
Um,
would you change about the stadiums? What would
check
you
this out.
add?
So check this out. Now, I went to Ole Miss graduate school. People know this.
Oh no.
People hate when I do this, but
Yes,
there are some
I
things.
wish I could mute you. I don't want to
There
hear
are
about the
some
Ole Miss.
things about the Ole Miss game day experience that they just do better. It is what it is. Like, for instance, with softball, the softball stadium is not as big as Mississippi State's, but it's intimate. It's intimate. They have the brick. It's kind of like if you had a softball stadium in Madison or something like that. You know, and the stuff is just nice. Then in the outfield, they have barbecue grills, and you can bring your coolers out there and you have your drinks. And then in SEC weekends, they have, now I don't know if they're doing it with COVID, but before they would have crawfish boils, and they would have 100 pounds of crawfish and sausage and corn. And once again, you could bring your own alcoholic beverages or just regular beverages, or you could barbecue on the grills if you wanted to. And to me, that made for an excellent game day experience. Okay. Whereas at Mississippi State, it's like, well, okay, you got a big stadium, but all of that other stuff isn't there. Or like in the baseball stadium. I went there and I was like, you know what? This stadium kind of reminds me of a AA minor league stadium. And it kind of reminds me of going to an M Braves game. But I was like, M-Braves games, like they cool or whatever, but an M-Braves game isn't as good as going to an Arkansas Travelers game, And then you don't have the left field lounge. They kind of neutered it because everything is all neat and prim and proper, but you don't have like the homemade contraptions and the lawlessness that you had before. Like the stadium is really nice and everything, but I just feel like it doesn't have the personality that it did before they redid. Really nice stadium, beautiful stadium.
Wait. What kind of lawlessness
Like
occurred at the old
the
left field
contraptions looked like they were gonna fall at any moment, and you had
lounge?
smoke wafting everywhere, and it was just like, man, somebody's gonna die on one of those things one day.
But
Like
nobody
one
did
day,
die, right?
huh?
Nobody died, right?
Yeah, nobody died, but it sure felt like something was gonna happen. Like one of those things are gonna fall one day, and somebody was gonna die. But they had this grand idea that they was gonna get rid of it, and now it's this really big, nice stadium that, in my opinion, doesn't have the personality. Just like with the Union, they built the new Union, had these national chain restaurants in there, and it was big and it was new and it had all this meeting space. But if you've ever been a student at Mississippi State University, if you were to ask any of those students, hey, which one do you think is more fun, the old Union or the new Union? I think that most people would agree that they would take the old Union every time, because the new Union was more about meeting spaces and
I grew up as a
corporatization
student at
with a bunch
yeah.
of high price restaurants. What happened to the old Chinese guy that used to be up in there, and you could get, pay $1 for pepper steak, pay $1 for broccoli and whatever. Now everything is Sbarro, and you can't get a nice decent meal for under $6. You know, so just like when they got rid of the dining
Well, listen,
services
y'all.
and replaced it with Aramark. You used to go inside the cafeteria and be like, hey, I just want some sausage and some eggs. Can't do that no more. Everything is a buffet. So now I'm like, what if I
Nothing
don't
wrong
want
with
a
a
whole
buffet.
buffet? What if I just want some sausage and some eggs? Too bad. So, that's my rant about, the corporatization of Mississippi State University and how we're really good at making really big stadiums that have no soul.
Next topic.
Nah, we not done yet because we still got to talk about baseball. First of all, let me look at time. We got 15 minutes to the game start. Um, so what do you think about the baseball team? Have you been following baseball?
We have. I have. I mean, like we just swept Auburn. You know, so you know, it was good to see that. You know, because Bush Thompson used to be our head coach. So I'm trying to put up our record here. Come on, Apple computer. But
What do you think about Roddy Jordan getting hit 4 times in the last game?
uh, man, they scared of him. They scared he gonna take him out.
I mean, he's from Auburn, right?
No, I didn't know that. Okay, learn something new.
Like he went to Auburn High School.
Yeah, we whooped Auburn's butt. Like the last game, we beat them 19-10, 7-2, and then 6-5. So, you know,
Wait a sec. Let me go on the record as saying that last game disturbed me because we started out with a 10-0 lead in the first inning and like immediately gave them back like 4-5 runs. And it was like, oh well, the pitcher's been. I'm like, why we can't have two things that match? When we finally get offense going, the pitcher comes out and start effing up. Like, what are we doing? So we start out 10-0 and end up winning the game like 19-10. And to me, that's one of those things that could come up later. And I still maintain that I don't think I'm gonna withhold judgment to after this Ole Miss series is over. But the fact that we got swept by Arkansas
yeah,
disturbs me
it does.
because that's been a theme over the last 2 years. We're pretty good, but when we face elite pitching, we get shut down. So I just got an eye out. However, I do feel as though that we have the pitching, and I think we got the right amount of hitting. I think that we could make a legit run at the national championship. Even though I do feel as though that I wish we had like a Hunter Renfro type of guy.
Right.
I wish
Well,
we had a Hunter Renfro type of guy, and that who is the relief pitcher? He's like really good, like one of the best, like the best relief pitcher in the country. Is that Landon Sims?
yeah. But right now we're tied with Ole Miss for second place in the SEC at 8-4. But
Yeah,
after we whoop up on Arkansas State, this 3-game series against Ole Miss is really gonna let us know where we are because Ole Miss has been ranked as high as number 1 in the nation.
yeah,
We don't
because
want them
it's
ranked.
wait a second. And why do you sound so low? It sounds like your voice is getting lower and lower.
Man, I don't know. I'm talking in my normal voice.
Okay, there you go.
I had to adjust my mic. But so this series against Ole Miss is really gonna let us know where we are because we don't want to lose to them. But I want to win the series, but I definitely like to have a sweep. You know, just so we can shove it in the Rebels' faces and we swept them. You know what I'm saying? You know, are they still playing for the Governor's Cup
No,
or
no, no. We
Governor?
didn't. We didn't play in Pearl this year.
Okay, all right. So well, hell, if we beat them, you know what? That's all that we don't need no cup. Sweep Ole Miss, beat Ole Miss, win the series. That's all that really matters. So I mean,
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. The Ole Miss series, I would love it, but you know what I really want? I want that natty. We need a natty. That is, I feel as though that we're not getting the respect that we deserve as a program because we have everything except the national championship. We got the alumni. We send guys to the majors. We've been to the College World Series 3 bajillion times, but we hadn't won the son of a gun yet. So we have as good, if not better, of a program history, than just about any team in the SEC, not named LSU, but like South
uh,
Carolina.
uh,
They have a championship and we don't. They have two to be exact. Does Florida have one? I feel like Florida has one.
in baseball.
Yeah. Because at one point Florida was like really freaking good. Let me check. I feel like they do. Yeah, they won in 2017.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need that national championship to give us that legitimacy. Because in my opinion, I think we have the best program in college baseball, but we don't have the championships to show. So I mean, now, in my opinion, there's a conversation that needs to be had about diversity and how that's affecting us. But whatever, we got to find a way to get some more athletic players. I'm like, it's 2021. I don't think that you're gonna win a national championship with a bunch of white kids. We need a Kumar
Uh,
Rocker here or there. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You look at teams that win a national championship, they usually have some legit, really good black players. And that is what it is. All right. So,
I mean,
I'm,
here's the thing: you want to have a diverse roster. You want to have a mixture of talent on your squad. To take advantage of other teams' talent. I mean, I think you look at Michigan last year. I mean, they had a very diverse roster and they had a very good squad. Look at Vandy with Kumar Rocker. And then they have Al Leiter's kid. Dude's lighting it up. I mean, but anyway,
yeah.
um,
I mean, you look at any team that's successful, and I'm like, we're playing baseball, and you mean tell me we don't have any Hispanic players? You know, None.
So you're not meaning black. You meaning black, white, Hispanic, African,
We
any
need to
race.
recruit the best players that we can find.
Okay.
Because I've said it before. We played Jackson State, played the number one seed in University of Louisiana Lafayette,
And
and
they
they
beat
had a
them.
pitcher who shut them down. Okay, and you mean to tell me that we couldn't get any of these guys at Mississippi State? And we've had people to come on the podcast before and talk about that. Under a certain legendary Mississippi State coach, that the racial relations could have been better. And that is what it is. So we'll leave that for now. Point is, Super Bulldog Weekend, Mississippi State this weekend, Ole Miss. You don't want to miss it. And
Spring
like I said, if
football
you're in town,
game.
go check out WTF. I'm always go rock with Shantita. Tell her that I say give you a mystery drink on me. Okay, tell her to send me a bill. All right. So men's basketball. They talk about the fact that Ben Howland turns around programs and that he's gotten programs to the Final Four within a couple of years of being there. And Mississippi State finally got to the Final Four in the NIT. So,
Got to the championship game too.
yeah, I mean, so how do you feel about Ben Howland at this point? Are you of the school of thought that he's shown us, like he's taken us as far as he can take us, or do you feel because you know my thing? Do I think that he low key sucked? Yes, but I also feel as though that we thought that the team was going to be complete garbage this year, and
Right.
they actually turned out to be okay.
Yeah, and we did lose two transfers, two freshman transfers, one who played a lot decided to leave. But we're in the market for some. Garrison Brooks just committed. We got I think a 5-star point guard out of up north somewhere. But
Don't forget about DJ Jeffries.
DJ Jeffries is supposed to be coming too. So I mean, we're replacing those players, better, well, hopefully better players. But here's the thing: I feel like we should be better than what we are with being Howland. You know, this man is a coach who's won over 500 games in his career. He has the reason why we brought him in because what he did at UCLA, the history has not repeated itself at Mississippi State. But I feel like we should be competing to be in the upper echelon of the SEC, and we have not gotten there yet. Do I think we should make a change? I'm 50-50 on that simply because of how he coached his young team of newcomers and got them to the NIT championship game. You know, um, so I really feel like he does deserve another year, which he's going to get that other year. And he's bringing in some more weapons, some more talented players. So it's possible. Right now, Kentucky is down. LSU may be firing their coach if, if the NCAA doesn't hammer them. You know, so we're primed, right? Primed and ready to make a run in the SEC West, in the SEC totally in basketball because we finally beat Kentucky, finally beat Calipari, finally beat him in the tournament. You know, had him beat in the regular season. So, you know, this team outplayed expectations, definitely for me, you know. Um, so I'm looking to see what's going to happen when he adds these pieces, these transfers, and then that new crop of freshmen to come in. You know how he coaches his team in I think year 7 under Ben Howland. We should be better. We should be ready to take the leap to compete for an ACC championship game. We shouldn't be being voted on being 12th in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? You know, everyone makes this big thing. Oh, we should have hired Kermit Davis. You know what I'm saying? I, you know,
Who
he
said
took
that?
well, I mean, I'm just saying because how he had Ole Miss playing. But I mean, I would have loved to have seen him coach his alma mater. I mean, what that's the dream of every Mississippi State former player or coach. uh, a former player to maybe come back and coach at your alma mater. But unfortunately, we had Ben Howland. So we'll see how he does this next year with a reloaded squad. You better compete. You need at least be top four in the ACC.
Well, I feel
Top
as
four.
though if we get
But we better
DJ
finish in
Jeffries,
top four.
huh?
We better finish in top four. If not, if we don't finish in top four, it's time to make a change. Real
I
time.
feel like with DJ Jeffries and Garrison Brooks, we'll probably be fine. I have a bit of faith in the team that we have. A little bit. You know, they were just really young. I think they'll be fine. Um, yeah. So speaking of which, we had two players to transfer. One, who was one of our students at the high school that I was teaching at, left, but he didn't even
Sorry.
get on the court, considering that they were playing everybody and he didn't get on the court. I guess that would make sense. And who was the other guy who was actually in
Davion
the team?
Smith.
Right.
Davion Smith.
So between that and all the players who transferred with women's basketball, then you had like a crap ton of Syracuse's players in women's basketball who transferred. Like we have cancel culture and all these other types of culture. You know, what's the name for this? Like, is it transfer culture? Like, it seems as though even Baylor said that
Get out the doghouse culture.
yeah, the crux of their national championship run was all the players that they got is transfers. So a lot of people don't like the whole transfer portal deal because they're like players are just leaving on a whim. Like
You gotta
they're
realize
just
Baylor.
leaving. They don't even really have problems. They're not learning to work through their problems. They just leaving at the first sign of trouble. Um, now,
That's not always
other
true though.
other people argue that as the transfer portal taketh away, so doth it give.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're losing a bunch of players to the transfer portal, but you can also get a lot of players on the transfer portal. Just like with the women's basketball team.
The A team.
Yeah, we lost all these people, but we also gained. You know, we lost a few
A
5-star
trio
players,
of
but we
talented
also
sisters.
gained three of them. You know, and so secretly the whole situation might be balancing out. And if a person don't want to be here, then why should we force them to stick around? So I guess that the one of the things is like when are they gonna go back to making the people sit for a year? Because of COVID, they I think they're eligible to play immediately, right?
I will hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I know one of the Hayes sisters is going to be a graduate transfer. The young lady from Ole Miss, not from, I'm sorry, from Notre Dame, was a freshman. So don't necessarily know if they're going to make her sit out. But hey, the NCAA is notorious for granting waivers, right? They should grant the Hayes sisters a waiver to play together immediately. A true family reunion. Let them play together.
Now I'm gonna be through if that fourth Hayes sister comes, and
Well,
if
that's something to
all
talk. We are
if
working on
we
trying to
have
get Mama and the girls on the show, so that's something we can ask.
look, man, if we have all four, you got to have the A team lineup. I'm just saying.
We got to
Yeah,
play the 18 music. If they have good games, we gonna play the 18 theme song
right. You gotta have
every
all
show.
four. You
I,
got to put all four on the floor at once. And if Madison Hayes had a stayed and you have five Hayes in the game at the same time,
I mean, who they gonna stop? Hayes, 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 Hayes. You know, Willie
imagine being
Mays
an
Hayes.
announcer. Imagine being an announcer
Say
and
hey.
to do that. Basket by Hayes. One
Which
of
hater
them.
stop?
And what do you put on it? What do you put on their jerseys? Because all of their names are really similar too. Like, how does that even go? So you're gonna have to have like out to like 3, 4 letters to distinguish one haze from the other one, and that's just gonna be beautiful. I love it.
The jersey numbers would distinguish it.
Maybe, maybe. So I mean, you know what? I'm feeling good about Mississippi State athletics now. This Ole Miss series, like Ole Miss is
Gotta
one
have
of
it.
those teams.
Gotta
Ole
have it.
Miss. Oh, you know what? Ole Miss in baseball. In baseball, Ole Miss has heart. Like, I know that people talk about Omaha, Ole Miss at home again, but while I was at Ole Miss, they demonstrated heart. Like, you could never count them out of a game. And so I fully anticipate this series to be a war. Like, they go come at us with their best, we go come at them with our best. Um, and who knows what's gonna happen. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I might have to put something on the grill, you know what I'm saying? And just watch the series and see where it goes.
So before we get out of here, man, what you think you're gonna see from the football team in the spring game?
You know what? We really need Jeremiah around for this, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying I don't care about the football team, but I don't keep up with all the spring game, what the message board scuttlebutt and all of that type of stuff. I don't keep up with it. I'm one of those guys that when the season comes, I'll watch the games and I'll make my evaluations on, like, for now it's just speculation. What I'm interested to see is, do them having a proper spring translate on the field? Because what I don't want to see is rush 3, drop 8 again.
Right. Well,
Okay.
he's gonna have to make some adjustments. I did see, I read an article from where the running backs are saying they're not gonna be dancing as much. They're gonna be running the ball, catching the ball, and heading up the field. Um, CJ Morgan is back, for another year. Read that he's providing outstanding leadership from the safety position, something that we lacked tremendously last year. So I mean, I feel like we're gonna have, even though we're losing Arrow, heart and soul of our linebacking corner, our defense. I feel like overall the defense could be more well-rounded. With Cream Boule stepping into that role as the lead backer, being that guy that you're gonna have to account for on every down. And I really feel like we're gonna have a strong pass rush. I really feel like Randy Charlton coming in for Central Florida is gonna definitely be an asset to our defense. Will Rogers in year two. Uh, Also, look out for Rufus Harvey. So I heard he's tearing it up in the spring. So you know, I'm just ready to see what we look like. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to watch the game. I got parental duties this weekend. The kid has a registration for high school. So I will record the spring game, and we can talk about the spring game probably later that night if you want. After I watch it. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens in year two under Mike Leach.
We should have did our
Hopefully,
top spring game memories, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The the
the
only
only one I remember is when
I know what you gonna say.
when old boy knocked out his own teammate and Money Camps in the spring game.
Yeah, Jonathan April. I knew he was gonna
Yeah,
be special
Jonathan
again.
April. And
I knew.
I mean, when you seen that coming, it was like he's not gonna hit him, is he? Damn, he did hit him, and damn, he knocked him the f out like Craig did Debo. Well, like Debo did, like Debo did
Red.
Ed. So, and then Mullen was like playing my emotions. Council Spring game,
Or shutting down
man.
the studio.
So I mean, that's the most
I loved it.
know,
I'm gonna tell you
memorable
why I
spring
loved it.
game moment that I can remember. The rest of them I can't really remember because you've never had anything like that happen before.
I'm gonna tell you why I loved it, because I was like, if he does that to his own teammate, what is he gonna do to the other team? Like, we talking about a guy who tackled some, like, didn't he like knock out one of his teammates in a game or something? Like, he hit somebody so hard that he tore up his own shoulder. Like, I
Oh,
was
you talking
like,
about with the Raiders?
this guy right here, I
Yeah,
love the way he plays the game. But before we
major
go,
reckless abandon. So
yeah, before we
indeed.
go and watch this Arkansas State game, I want to point out that this is the anniversary of that time that what his name is, Coach Polk threw a hissy fit because when he was retiring, he tried to name his successor, which is supposed to be Tom Raffo, who is now the coach at Arkansas State. And Greg Byrne was like, no, and decided that he was going to hire John Cohen. Now, no matter how you feel about the hiring of John Cohen as the AD, you got to admit that as far as being a baseball coach is concerned, he worked out pretty well. Um, so yeah, remember Ron Polk tried to disassociate himself from Mississippi State University. He said he didn't want anything named after him. He wasn't donating anything to the athletic department no more because they wouldn't let Tom Raffo be the head coach. And considering what Tom Raffo has done at Arkansas State, in that powerhouse baseball conference known as the Atlantic 10 or the Atlantic Sun or Sun Belt or whatever it is, I ain't gonna go ahead and say that Greg Byrne made the right decision, which is why he's now the athletic director at the University of Alabama, because he was a pretty smart guy who knew what he was doing. Um, yeah. Um, Ron Polk tried to get us to hire a mediocre um, guy as his successor, and it probably would have been the Joe Moorhead hire. I don't know which was worse, hiring Joe Moorhead or Canizero. Whatever. We'll debate that another time. So,
That's an
Derek,
interesting
any
debate
last
too.
words?
Man, just glad to be back here talking Mississippi State sports. Can't wait to see what year two of the Nick McCray Pinson era brings. Hopefully we sweep Ole Miss, and hopefully we have a great showing in the spring football game, first spring football game under Coach Mike Leach.
Right, right,
Stay
right, right, right. Bad boy. Anybody say anything interesting in the chat?
mm, no, not since Kathy.
Boo. Well, we're gonna have to get our lives together. We should have. You know what? Are you completely unavailable on Saturday?
Probably not until later.
Ah, boo.
Wait a minute. Hold on, wait. Uh, Mr. Stringer said 3-7 regular season last year with non-conference pansies. We may win 7 of 12. I look for Ole Miss to be improved some. That's he's talking about football season. Then he said John Cohen had 4 losing seasons as head coach. He was 108 and 130 SEC record as a head coach. An average baseball coach will be successful at state. Mr.
Man,
Stringer don't play
Ron
no
Polk.
games.
I remember when we were at Mississippi. When I was at Mississippi State, the baseball team was awful. I mean, we weren't very good, and Ron Polk was living off of his legend. And by the way, don't forget that Ron Polk quit on the team during the '90s and went to UGA. People don't remember that. Just
I,
like people don't remember Kobe trying to get out of LA to go play in Chicago. Or people don't remember Ray Lewis trying to leave the Baltimore Ravens and go to the Cowboys. Ron Polk quit on Mississippi State. He did. and he came back, and then he threw that hissy fit because we wouldn't hire Tom Raffo, which once again was a good decision. But yeah, we did have some seasons where we were trash under Cohen, but in my opinion, all that was because of what that guy name is. He was a real big dude, but he played first base, and he played like a softball player. Because even though he was like 6'5", 300 pounds, he was always hidden for contact and trying to leg one out to first base.
He also played football.
At one point, Wes Ray, that's it.
About Wes Ray?
Yeah, Wes Ray.
You ain't gonna be talking bad about Wes Ray, man.
Is anything that I just said false? This dude was hidden for. This dude was out there playing like Ichiro Suzuki, and he was an offensive lineman. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing? Like, why are you laying down?
Can you hit a baseball?
I'm not saying.
All right, I rest my case.
Don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap. I can't play baseball, which is why I didn't go out there. But they had this dude in the starting lineup, and he out there 6'6", 350 pounds, and he laying down a bunt and trying to run it out.
He's trying to move the run over, man. His probably told to do that. You do what your coach tells you. You do what the coach tells you.
I guess. But, I mean, we can await the second coming of Hunter Renfrow because it feels like we hadn't had a guy like that in a while. Well, Brent Rooker, that was a guy. Anyway, what is my final thoughts? Let's see. Basically go to hell, Ole Miss. And I also feel as though that the women's basketball program might be just fine. I feel as though that we've had enough of a mass exodus where this year is going to be the litmus.
My people go.
Yeah. So there will be no praise Lord and go dogs. We need to come up with something else, but we hadn't yet. So I'm just gonna hum the 18 theme. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, we can do that. Love it when a good plan comes together.
Huh?
Love it when a good plan comes together.
Yeah, dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Now,
B.A. Baracus and all that good stuff. K-bye.
Peace.